final one. It's the final countdown. Do-do-do-do. I'm going to stop doing that because if I do it, I'm just going to keep going for the next 5 minutes. The final podcast or regularly scheduled podcast of 2024 for this, the Should I Play This Game podcast. Graham Banks.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah, it's all right, eh? Would it surprise you to know that after being on holidays for just over a week, my sleep schedule is fucking in the tank? Well, it's not fucking in a tank. It's whatever. I've created my sleep schedule hard. Who would have thought? How's Tricks?
Yeah, not bad. I'm also on leave,
Yeah.
but not for as long as you.
Yeah.
I'm back on the first week of January, but yes, I'm not working.
When in the first week of January?
Like Monday the 6th or 7th, whatever day the first
That's pretty good.
First full week back. Yeah, not too bad.
I don't go back to work until the 3rd of February.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw that little nugget in there, throw the grenade and walk away.
Yep.
Hey, check this out, fucker. Wah! At least for the early stages of the podcast, this episode is brought to you by the letter C. Because there's a lot of C stuff that has happened in the last couple of weeks. Chief among them, hey Graham, would you be shocked to learn I have another new controller?
No, okay.
It's a GameSir Cyclone. They've put a different anti-stick drift technology into that one called TMR. So a different means to not have your stick drift. I don't know if it's any more effective than Hall Effect, but no, I was interested and I thought I'd grab it, and it's pretty nice. So I've been using that.
Uh-huh.
What else? I don't know. I'm sitting on a new chair. It's much like the old one, but it's a new one. It's pretty great.
Excellent. I'm glad we got that out the way.
I know, right? Oh, how about you talk about the games of the last couple?
I will. No audio this time. I fixed the fucking thing. It only took me 50 minutes.
Oh, in fact, you fixed it in so much as you recreated it. You didn't fuck. Me sitting here criticizing you for saying you didn't fucking fix shit.
No,
Yeah.
I fixed it. It's not doing
That's
it
how
anymore.
you fixed it.
It's not doing it anymore. Therefore, it's fixed.
Yeah, I'll pay that logic.
Sure, I didn't actually solve why it was doing it in the first place, but I didn't want to.
See, that to me would be the actual definition of fixing it, to be honest. But
True,
look,
but the outcome is the outcome. That's all. It's an outcome-based business. It fixed it. It's not doing what it was doing before. Anyway, still playing Satisfaction.
God damn it! I had a great podcast episode, but you just might have eclipsed it.
Yes, podcast Satisfactory. Still playing it. That'll do. Astrobot. Still playing that. That game is awesome. I will probably that's going to be high on my top 10 list. When we get to it, I think, unless something comes along, passes it. But no, I think it's really, really cool. It's just a great game to play and just chill out in. It's just so awesome. Do
you play it in short bursts or sort of longer sessions?
No, short bursts. Shorts. I mean, hourish is probably how long.
Half hour is what I would define a short burst as half hour.
Yeah, so that's probably how I play it. I might do because it takes about 10 less than 10 minutes to do a level. You then might have to do it twice if you missed the collectible stuff that's in it. If you do it twice, you don't have to recollect everything. You just got to find the one thing. Even once you've got the one thing you need, you save it and quit out. You don't have to actually finish it.
Oh, that's good. I like it when games do that.
Which I think's really neat. I kept on playing it like that, thinking that's what I had to do. But then I'm just gonna. It's at the very beginning. I don't do the whole thing. I'll just what is I
give it a go and see what happens.
And it worked. So cool. Yeah, as you say. That's a good. When it's that game, when it's that type of game, I think that's really good. I'm not too sure if that's...
I mean, the level's being short enough that even if you did have to play through the rest of the level, that's not that bad a thing.
It's not that bad because they're relatively short, but if
and they're fun. Apparently, but
if that thing you need to collect is the very beginning, it's a bit of a pain. So, but yeah, that's really awesome. Really awesome. I Am Future, same thing. That's my podcast game now. That's what I just really chill out to. That can turn into big long sessions. Just just by get sort of a bit of a time warp with that game, but that's really cool.
I like how most of your games are very chill sessions.
Oh, that's what I need
Chill
to do.
session games.
That's what I need to do.
Fucking A.
Um,
I'd like to murder people when I have chill session games.
yeah. So I started playing Star Wars Outlaws because you put some questions in our Slack conversation about it. So I got back into it to see if I could understand where you're coming from. I've not got to the point you've got to yet, but
yeah, okay. I didn't get a response from you on that rant, so I deleted it because I thought either you might be pissed that I spoiled something, or I just deleted it because
it wasn't because I went looking for it again today and wondered why it wasn't there. So I was trying to
I
understand.
deleted it.
No, I just couldn't understand. I couldn't respond to it because I had no way to respond to it. How could I respond to what you were saying? Because I haven't played it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't so much written for a response. It was, oh, I need to tell someone something.
But I'm really enjoying. I'm really liking Star Wars Outlaws. So I haven't played it. I'm still back in that initial planet, Tashara, whatever it's called. And yeah, really enjoyed it. I've now just sort of got out of the first couple of missions and got my first sort of side mission that puts you out into the open world. So I grabbed my speeder and jumped onto that and did that. I don't like the speeder that much because it's not particularly maneuverable, but I guess speeders probably they're not bikes. I guess you don't have the.
I suppose you put a rocket on the back of a fucking scooter.
Yeah, but you don't have the turning thing of an actual bike.
It doesn't quite have the turning rate. That's where the drift comes in handy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite. I'll talk about where I'm at with that game soon. But one of my favorite things. Hey.
Spoiler free.
Oh, it was spoiler free. Don't worry about that. There's no. It's not. I'm not going to say this is the story moment. It's One of my favorite things that I've done is when I get on the scooter, sometimes I'll just hold both the triggers and do little spin little brodies for a bit and then take off.
Okay.
Every single time I've done that without fail, I crash into a rock.
But yeah, they did a fairly big patch of that game maybe a month ago or so.
It coincided with the Steam release and the DLC release.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm playing that on the Ubisoft Connect Prime thing, whatever it's called. So yeah, I think from my playing of it last couple of days, I think they made that game a bit more enjoyable to play. The stealth stuff seems a bit better. I think I found the stealth stuff a bit weird before, but I think it's really good now. I think the thing that I'm finding it different, and it's different because an Ubisoft game is they don't handhold you in that game at all. When you're trying to find things on the map, you get an icon on the map, it doesn't tell you, okay, you got to go up this path along here. It doesn't give you that. It does tell you where things are and does tell you where endpoints of missions are, but it doesn't really give you a lot of information where some stuff is, and I kind of like that because it's just a bit different from them. So
to an extent, but there's also parts where it sometimes goes the other way, where you're like, where the fucking hell am I looking for this treasure intel?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of, that's
yeah,
as you say, you can make it really obvious where stuff is, and then the challenge goes away.
Finding the middle, because there was one where it's like, this ambergris ravine or something like that. And there's 4 different places that could be that I couldn't figure out which is which. I ended up looking it up. It was in the last one I would have thought of because I hadn't even been in that part of the map that much because I hadn't had reason to go there.
But no, I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And the last game is a new one. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is on Game Pass for PC and Xbox.
Yep.
I'm playing it on PC. This game, I think, from my early playing it so far, has the potential to go to number 1, I think, on my list. I've played only a couple of hours of it. I'm doing a mission in the Vatican City, so I've just got to the Vatican City to do the initial mission in the Vatican City in that area. But the opening game the opening part of the game is you're replaying. I've got to get the name of which movie it is. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think it's Raiders.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm pretty sure. There's one with the boulder.
Yep.
Follows him. So you're replaying essentially that intro section from that movie. And it's first person perspective, which I'm not a big fan of first person games because I don't have that. You don't get that sort of spatial. You don't know what's really around behind you, sort of thing. So
Mm.
you can sort of move backwards and get stuck on things and just not sure why, and you got to turn around to figure. Oh, I'm stuck on a freaking ledge and move a bit to the left. Then you can keep walking backwards. Um, but in terms of what you're doing, like it's fairly quick time is not quite the right term, but it is a little bit like
Mm.
that. In that you're walking up, like for example, you walk up to it and you got to walk through some vines to walk through the vines onto the next bit. You walk up, it'll ask you to push left on the thumbstick, and you do that, and then he plays the rest of the animation out and then walks forward, and then the game continues, sort of thing. So it's a little bit stoppy starty in that way, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Um, but in terms of the just the presentation game, it looks brilliant. It looks really,
Yeah.
really nice. It looks really, really good. Um, Audio's been really good so far. Troy Baker as Indy is pretty much dead on. Um, so
It,
it's
it it was really funny at the game. Like we'll talk more about the Game Awards and the announcements, but when they had who's the Bethesda dude? Not Pete Hines. Is it Pete Hines? I don't know. Him and Troy Baker come out, and then they go, "Oh, special guest," and then they pull the screen up, and it's Harrison Ford.
mm,
And I was like, "Fuck yeah, give him his props." And Harrison Ford's like, "I kind of wish I did this because Troy did such a great job."
yeah, yeah. So the voice acting is really, really, really good.
Mm.
Um, and some of like, and it's also, and so far, I mean, it's only short into it, but I haven't shot anybody yet, which is
Mm.
interesting. Um, you basically the main sort of combat mechanic, for want of a better term, is you can pick up a lot of stuff around the environment, and basically walk up behind dudes and just thunk, and they go thunk, and they
Yeah,
just fall over. And that's
whack fools,
basic.
punch fascists.
And once they pretty much go down first go.
Mm.
You can get into like an actual fight with them and actually punching, but I found when that did that a couple of times, I think probably in a way it's deliberately done that way. This particular sequence was done that way. I found it really not knowing what I was actually doing, and I think I just sort of stumbled my
Yep.
through that bit. But I think that might have been by design that I was, meant to
Mm.
lose, for the want of a better term. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think so because I think the way the story played out, you weren't meant to do it particularly well. But it was hard to know if I was doing it correctly or not. The way the thing sort of turned out. So um, yeah, I'm not too sure the actual literally punching dudes, like punch out style is probably going to be the worst way to play that game. I think you do it stealthy, take them out from
That's
take them
kind of
out
what
solo.
Indy is as a character too, isn't he? It's not like he's a martial arts expert and he's
Yeah, and I mean,
whipping the ass of everybody.
yeah,
He
and
like
he's
he's good at like
yeah,
cracking fools in the back.
yeah, like he's not a brawler. He's not a wrestler. So he's going to do it in a way that um, you know less impact, less fighting as he can
Mm.
avoid it. So yeah, and it just does a lot of things right, and um, it's the presentation, everything about it is basically top notch. So
Yeah.
um, I think it's got a big potential to be when I get around to finishing it, um, to be very high on my list.
Mm.
My personal top 10 list. When we do that podcast in what, it's 5 6 weeks time, whatever. So
Mm.
yeah, I think
Begs the question why they put it out in December.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, this game should have really come out in September, October, and had
Yeah.
2 or 3 months of like
Be eligible for Game of the Year
game of the
stuff.
game. Well, I always found the fact that you do a game of the year and do it before the end of the year is just bizarre. But
That is ridiculous
that is
because it's
ridiculous.
like there's still shit coming out. What the
There's
fuck are you
still,
doing?
yeah, like the Oscars for the year is in March for the previous year, so
Mm.
which is kind of
And
odd.
their eligibility windows like January to January or something weird,
Yeah,
isn't
look,
it?
it's a bit odd, but it's not the end of the calendar year. What I'm getting at is they don't do the show before the eligibility window fucking closes,
Mm.
or they don't just do it really close to the end of the year. So it just seems a bit of an
Yeah.
odd thing. But anyway, um, but I think if that, like if like technically that's going to be eligible next year, it's going to
Yep.
be completely forgotten. So it'll miss
Oh
out.
yeah.
It's
And
it's, it's going to miss out on the props that it should get. But Assuming the games that are meant to come out next year actually do come out, that's obviously another thing.
And that they actually stick the landing, because
landing.
there's a lot of fucking promise in 2025. But
yeah, there's a lot of. We'll get to that later. Don't worry, we'll bog down
yeah.
now. But yeah, I just think it's a really, really top-notch game. I think it has a great potential to be definitely high on my list, and I'd recommend you play it as well if you do get a chance.
It is one. It is probably, if not one, it is 1A on the list of games I want to get to in the holidays.
Yep, beautiful.
In the break, like everything I've heard about it just screams fucking play it, and like apparently it launched really well. Like it's not a technical mess.
I've not seen any issues technically at all. I installed it on the day that it came out, which I think was a Monday.
Yep.
I think it was a Monday.
Yes, it was
a Monday. But I didn't start playing it till the following Friday night. So I might have had some patching during that time, but
it took one, maybe two smaller patches. But it, like,
even if it
both
did, it's landed incredibly well from a technical perspective, and the game itself has landed well. So,
well, much like Dragon Age: The Valguard is another big game that landed really well technically. So maybe, Stalker 2 didn't, but Stalker 2 was never going to launch in a perfect condition. But yeah, it's really surprising. Like, it's not surprising, I think, that Machine Games put out something that is this polished and this well put together. But to have the big semi-open AAA game like this come out with next to no technical issues complained about, it's really quite impressive.
Yeah, indeed. But yes, that is my list of games.
Yeah, we'll talk about what we want to get to in the break, but that is right up there with what I want to get to.
All right,
but what I have gotten to...
What have you gotten to, then? Let's do that.
Ha-ha! I don't know if you saw, but Cat Quest 3 took an update that added some bosses and quests. Bosses and quests.
I missed it on my list. I did, in fact, because I saw you playing. So why are you playing that? Because I know you finished it. I
streamed it.
I looked at the Steam page. They put out some new content, so I jumped into it and played it for a bit as well. Didn't finish what they put in because I just thought, look, this is more of the same. I'm going to bail on this and go and do something, an actual game I want to finish. So
there are a couple of new side quests that weren't too bad. Like they were qualitatively they were good, but they weren't difficult. One of the new bosses was semi-difficult, but I took him out in like maybe 2 or 3 attempts. They added a boss that took me fucking 2 to 3 hours worth of streaming time to actually fucking kill it. And it was a cute little boar.
Was that the boar? Yeah, when I hit that boar a couple of times, nah, I'm done. I'm not going to bother with this.
Yep. It fucked my shit up hard.
Yeah, because the boar is like they roll or something, don't they?
The boar, it doesn't roll, but it also shoots like fireballs that home in. But and they do massive damage.
The roll was
so they call it the Dragon Boar.
Yeah.
Which is reference there. Yep. It's also level 200.
Yeah, exactly.
So I ran up against it a few times on stream, and some of the people in chat and stream were like, "What the fuck are you doing? It's a cute little boar. Stop being a bitch." I was like, "This dude is fucking me up. Leave me alone." And then I went to the Endless Tower a few times to grind out and upgrade some shit. It seriously was a good 2 to 3 hours of effort. But I fucking knocked that little prick off and got nothing for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, it might have dropped something like maybe a charm or something that was like, "Oh, this is dope," and then it was pointless because there was next to nothing to fight after it. But it's like that game's still fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Oh man. But yeah, that was great. Continuing on with the letter C, Crypt Custodian. I think I mentioned last time that I'd started it, and it was sort of the developer behind Islets, which was a Metroidvania game, search action game from 2021, I think, off the top of my head. I had to look some things up, but 100%ed it. Well, as far as collecting everything and stuff like that. I was short 4 achievements, which are all tied to their boss rush mode, which I was like, I would have liked some information to perhaps be communicated to you a little bit better about where things are, what you need to do, and stuff like that, because it wasn't. There are some elements where I'm walking around going, where the fuck can I go? I can't go anywhere because everything seems locked. And I think I ended up looking online and someone's like, hey, remember that ability? I'm like, oh, you fucking dickhead, of course. And then I figured out where to go. But fortunately, like a game like this does have a decent community on Reddit where there's enough people just giving, like, saying stuff. Sometimes I end up stumbling into indie games that have no community. So you have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
It is a very good search action game. I don't think it's the best one of those because Nine Souls came out this year, and that was fucking incredible. It looks really nice, although it weirdly runs like shit in a few spots. There were times where it got super framey, and I don't know why. There didn't seem to be a reason for it. It was very pleasant for the most part. Some of the bosses got a bit difficult, or not. I don't want to say difficult, but there was a level of challenge to them. The dreamy sort of atmospheric music was nice and fit the setting really well. And it has a mostly pretty great balance between traversal challenge and traversing the environment and combat. And a little bit of challenge to the combat in places which you don't want to walk through it, but for the most part you don't want to Dark Souls it as well, where one normal, like just a random dude in the environment can absolutely flatline you in 3 hits. So I think it balances that out mostly quite well. And I really dug it. I don't know if or where it'll go on a top 10. And that's sort of, even though we're not doing this professionally, at this time of year for me, that top 10 is a consideration. So what I'm going to stick with and what I keep playing is, do I see this breaking in to that top 10? Am I sticking with it? Yes, no, based on that. Because I really need to be more discerning about the games I buy next year. Fucking hell.
That's fucking obvious.
I know, but still.
How's that just come to you?
I know. Shut up, man. Like, my current backlog list on Steam, like my shelf or collection on Steam of current backlog, has 50 fucking games on it. About 6 of them didn't come out this year. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Which is where the different, like, Friday Night Fun and the Saturday Special and stuff like that are coming in quite nice for that, but whatever. Man, Call of Duty. I am shocked at how much I'm playing of this and how much I'm enjoying it. They had a double XP weekend last weekend, I think. And I managed to, like, max out the battle pass. I maxed out, like, 3 or 4 guns. Man, that double XP weekend did some dirt. But weirdly enough, I'm getting way more lost connection to host errors, which start when, like, you get a latency variation sort of pop up in the game, and then you can run around the environment and everything stays still. So something's broken. And then a couple of minutes, it just goes, and drops you back to the main menu. So I'm like, that's weird. But it's still really, really fun. I'm shocked at how much I'm enjoying that. Gory, cuddly carnage. Hey, more words with C. Hyper violence, hyper color character action game. You are this little cat. His name is Gory. With an I, not a Y. But you cut fools up and everything gets gory with a Y. And you have a computerized sort of artificial intelligence, like, hoverboard that also is a foul-mouthed motherfucker. One of the first things you can buy, because initially when he swears, it beeps. You can buy a filter that turns the beeping off with in-game currency you earn in-game. So he just says motherfucker and it doesn't get bleeped. You are on the run from a galaxy-spanning, evil, human-hating toy company who has corrupted a bunch of unicorns, as you can see in the key art, and they get corrupted in weirdly different ways. Most of the boss fights has been some variation of a bear in the pop-up box. And it grows spider legs and weird shit. It has a fantastic fucking look and vibe to it. It's so bright, and it almost looks like a character platformer from 25 years ago, but it definitely doesn't play that way. And you end up fighting arenas just getting covered red. It doesn't run very well at times either. Like, the second level in particular turned into a fucking stuttery mess. And I don't really know why. after the second level, I was thinking, like, this is what I need. Again, one of those things where I played through the second level. I'm like, this is fine. But given the time of year, I don't really want to stick with it because there's so many other things I want to play. And the second boss fight was just, it wasn't hard. It was annoying, but it was fucking boring because there were so many, like, the phases in which you couldn't attack the boss was so long. It just went on way too long. And for a character action game where you're not really doing much action, it's kind of a fucking bummer. And you collect 3 different key components through levels that unlock different reward rooms in your space station or your spaceship. And the one after the second level was fucking terrible. I had next to nothing in it. So I'm like, fuck this. You don't get too many games of this level anymore. But like, I wouldn't call it a B tier game because it doesn't have that level of publisher behind it. In some ways, it's a bit more of a higher tier indie developed sort of thing, but it definitely replicates the feeling of that B tier game. And it would be great if there were more of these, but also if they came out better than this, which might be a function of budget, who can say. Although, fucking one indie game that I have been loving, I Am Your Beast, from the developer of El Paso Elsewhere, that came out last year, Strange Scaffold. They do apparently quite a lot of games. I think they had something to do with click holding as well that came out earlier this year. The narrator, who is the character is Alphonse Harding, but the narrator's voice is the same voice from El Paso, the narrator main character from El Paso Elsewhere. So that's a bit of a freak out. You hear that dude's voice again. It's like, wait, hang on. Did I go back in time? What the fuck's going on here? It has a very different graphical style than El Paso Elsewhere. That tried emulating sort of PlayStation 1 era aesthetics. This has got much more of a, to an extent, flat shaded style to it. And it works incredibly well. The audio and visual design, the audio design is incredibly well done because you get like really decent spatial awareness, and the voice acting behind it is really good as well. And you need that spatial awareness because it's basically like an insane modern military neon white. You're like this super soldier for a fictionalized version of the CIA. And they're like, we need you to come back in. And he's like, fucking no. All right, cool. I'm going to send this army after you then. He's like, all right then, let them come. I will fucking kill them all. And that's what you do. You basically neon white your way through levels, but you're killing everyone instead. And it's this really hyperkinetic, real intense movement, and there's a weight behind the combat. And like when he aims, he's not like pulling the gun up so the iron sights are in front of his eye. He's pulling like this. He's pulling John Wick shit. It's like John Wick if John Wick was a survivalist. The music has this real oppressive intensity behind it as well. It's more sort of drony noise than music, but it all combines for this really interesting vibe of just making you feel you're just on the human side of feral, but you're going absolutely ballistic, killing all these fools. They did a free extra chapter where you were getting the story from the soldiers on the other side.
Okay.
And we saw Harding do this and it's fucked. And then you actually play through that scenario, which is really clever. There are challenge levels, but you have to get them by unlocking S ranks. And no, some of those S ranks are fucked. But I really dug this. I did run into a level where one of the objectives was destroy a bunch of satellites, and I couldn't find 2 of them. And this is one of those games that didn't have much in the way of sort of assistance online. So I'm like, I got it done. Billionaire, although I don't know why it says TBD because that's actually out. Pachinko roguelike. I played a demo of it on stream a couple months ago. It's got a really colorful and appealing aesthetic to it. And it's Pachinko. You drop balls and you watch them bounce and you get points on them. And then after each drop, you get things you can place on the board. And it's super satisfying sometimes to just watch this chain of just fucking numbers jumping off everywhere.
Just refresh your page.
And then you finish. Hey?
Just refresh the page.
I put the wrong one on. I'm clever. That's much more actually representative of what the game looks like too. And then you finish the tutorial table, and then it unlocks a bunch of like this rotating circular table, a pinball one, a slot machine one, and it just goes weird. You do get fucked by randomness pretty hard though. It is very much that roguelike style, but almost hard. You get sort of plugged a little bit harder on the random, but it's still super satisfying. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk too long about this. Anton Blast came out earlier this month. It got super positive reviews, but then so did Pizza Tower last year, and it is very similar in style to Pizza Tower in that it takes very much a great deal of inspiration from Wario Land. But much like Pizza Tower, I don't have the reverence and nostalgia for Wario Land, so it's fun enough, but it's like, like it doesn't really drag me in because like there's elements of it that are fun, but it's hard to describe what it is I don't really dig about it outside of there's conceptual. Let me start that again. Conceptually, the movement mechanics and the challenge behind getting some of the secret stuff I should really dig, but there's a part of it that's not massively explained particularly well that I'm just like, eh. And again, this time of year, nah. But there is a button you hold the left trigger down, and the main dude just screams. So that's pretty cool.
I'm interested in your reaction to this because you were keen on this one, I think.
I've played this on stream a couple times. This is fucking way better than it has any right to be.
Okay.
So there's vocal lines from the original, all but the Yellow Power Ranger for the original cast because the original Yellow Ranger passed away. I did realize playing it though that to have one female Ranger be pink, an Asian Power Ranger be yellow, and the African American Power Ranger be black were weird choices. I didn't realize. I only just came to that conclusion in the last couple of weeks. So, like the first couple of levels, you play like a normal belt action beat 'em up game, and it's fun as hell. You like walk forward, punch dudes, great, like the Ninja Turtles game. You get to boss fights, and it turns it into like a mode, like Super Nintendo Mode 7 type of deal, where you're following. Like the first one, I did it with both not Tommy, Jason and Zach. The Red Ranger and the Black Ranger, respectively. And it follows behind your Megazord as you like running through this level, just continually steaming forward, shooting at like obstacles and stuff that get in the way. And then you get to the end of the level, shoot the boss, and it's like, yep, cool, done. Oh shit, he's gotten even bigger. Let's call in the Ultra Zord. And it goes first person, and you're just punching on. It fucking adds. Like I restreamed that first chapter a couple weeks ago on the Friday night for Friday Night Fun, and you see the reaction. It's just like, holy shit, it's fucking amazing. And like the end of the second chapter, you get on the Power Ranger motorbikes and you're cruising through this fucking street, shooting up cars and monsters trying to get you. Oh, I mean, like it's a bit expensive for what it is. It's $45. I think that's at least 10 to 15 too much. But once you get past that, and I think this is a thing where because I might have been slightly too old for Power Rangers when it came out, but I still thought it was dope. I think much like the Ninja Turtles game, if you have the nostalgia and the semi-reverence for this franchise or this IP, particularly the original form of it, you're going to enjoy it. Fortunately, it stays in original series. It doesn't get fucking Space Force and all that sort of shit. The Green Ranger is in there. He shows up in the intro, but I don't know if you unlock him at any point. And it does a fucking version of the intro from the show with the music, and the music's fucking incredible. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm still plodding away with Black Myth Wukong. I need to play more of this because I'm enjoying it, but I'm finding myself not playing it as much as I should. I ran into a section that had some narrow beams in it that I had to walk my way along. And then these fuckers would just shoot arrows at me, or this dude would drop from the roof and knock me off the beams and kill me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Rrr! But it's still fucking amazing. Although it is not an action game, god damn it. I don't give a fuck what the Game Awards say. The stupid category to put this in. Fuck you. Okay. I was a little bit on the fence about Outlaws when I started it. Because, like I said, there's a few things where, like, what abilities you need to get to certain areas and stuff like that, and the treasure intel. Having just a boundary on the map where you have to go to find it would be better for me. Because just describing in text where these things are, because I'm not much on the actual Star Wars lore and don't understand some of the concepts they describe. But I was enjoying it. It was a solid meat and potatoes open world game. It was fun. I ended up spending 16 hours on Toshara. Mm-hmm. Just jetting around, doing shit, finding stuff, all that sort of deal. I'm like, okay, I've cleaned up most of what I can here. I've got to go to space to go to this area. All right, cool. Went to the ship. After I got... have you seen this dude come up yet? Sorry?
No, not that one.
Him?
No.
Okay. So I went to space. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we need a hyper jump. I'm like, hang on, I don't want a hyper jump yet. I want to go over there and like fucking go to that station and do some shit. I could not move. It would not let me move this ship at all. I had to hyper jump.
Okay, so you had to do a story moment. Okay, fair enough. I don't think that's...
I didn't want to do that story moment at that period of time. Remember in Far Cry 5 when you're running around, you get shot with the magic bullets?
Yeah, that was a stupid mechanic, but this is a story moment. I'm not too sure that's necessary. I'm not too sure that...
It felt similar because I was still exploring and wanting to do stuff in that system. I didn't want to leave it.
Could you do?
And then I got forced to jump, and then
could you jump back straight away?
Not where. So I ended up going to the first system where he said, and I tried doing that. But the place where you jump to, you're in the middle of a big interference storm, so you couldn't jump automatically from there. And I didn't think you could jump back at all until you, I don't know, blew up some base or something. But I went on, like, someone on Reddit was like, no, you need to get to the boundary of that system, and then you can jump back. I'm like, okay, I went back and did that, but and I said in the message I put on Slack, this is fucking irrational. Like, the anger I felt towards this was completely irrational.
And your comparison to the other thing is not the same as far as I'm concerned.
I don't think it is. It isn't quite the same. It's not not apples to apples. It's apples to pears. I feel like not apples and oranges. Apples to pears. There's a similarity, but not exactly the same. You with me?
Yeah, I still think,
no,
as you said, I agree with your rational response to it, but yeah.
Yes. I 100% agree. Like, I said to you, this is a rational anger, but fuck me, it made me so angry. Completely right. I'm like, I don't want to, there's a question mark there. I want to go to the question mark. Let me go to the question mark. Fuck. But like, God damn it. It fucked me off so hard that I was like, nah, fuck this. And I went and played other things. But like, I went back to it after I saw that notice on Reddit, and I was like, okay, I managed to jump back and do some of the things. But much like I said, because I'm an idiot and I bought so many games, I'm enjoying what I've played of this, don't get me wrong. But God damn it. There is a part of me that thinks because like if something shows on the map or a question mark shows up, I have to go to it. It's one of those games.
Yeah, but
I don't know if I'm going to be able to knock this off and get to a lot of the other things I want to play for Game of the Year.
I think the difference is this game is not that type of game exactly. Like, it's got question marks on it.
That kind of is, because I spent 16 hours on that first planet.
Yeah. But it's not the same level as an Assassin's Creed game where there are fucking icons all over the place. It
is not the same.
They've certainly stripped that stuff back. Not saying they haven't done it at all, but yeah. So I think that's where it's a little bit not. It's not one of their traditional open world games. I think is probably I think that's probably where the clash is happening in your. In your, I don't know how time frame mind.
There's the narrative to it, and the sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the narrative to it and the mechanics to it aren't complex enough where I feel like I can't go play something else and then eventually come back to this.
Oh god, no.
So like like where I'm at now, it's okay. That moment really fucked me off. I know I'm taking a while on this. There's a few other big games I want to get to, plus some of the other indie stuff that's come out this year that I really want to get to for Game of the Year. I'm not going to come back to this right now, but we'll see about whether or not I come back to it later. I was enjoying playing it. But there are a few things, and we'll get to what we want to get to a bit later. But yeah. I ended up playing through this on stream. Thank goodness you're here. It is fucking hell of British humor. Like, it's incredibly well written. I love the art to it. I love the way it's like the sort of drawn art style. I'm very curious how they were able to afford Matt Berry as a voice actor, because he's in it, and he's in it for a bit too. I would have thought he'd be way too expensive for them. Basically, you are walking around to this little nugget guy here, who is substantially smaller than everyone else, and you just punch things for jokes to come out.
Okay.
Like, there are events that you take place in. There's some very relatively simplistic puzzles and scenarios, but you're just that little dude, walk around, punching things, making things happen, and then you watch the writing take over. The animated aesthetic's really dope. It's got some really 70s looking British video footage thrown in as well, interspersing some of it, which looks great. It's all about you poking away at the environment and watching what falls out, or hearing what falls out.
Is it like that game from a couple of years ago whose name completely escapes me? Oh, what was it called? Keep talking. I'll see if I can remember what this name of this game is.
I can't. I don't know. I can't remember. Once you say it, I'll probably like, yes.
Yeah. Let me find it. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So I think, like I said, the experience is all about you poking around and you finding those different nooks, crannies, and things where just humor falls out. Observe what comes out, but it's super successful and super entertaining at that. Is it a incredibly well playing, like, tight? Well, it's fairly tight, but is it a incredible interactive experience? That's debatable. But the strength of it is its writing and the humor and everything that comes of that. Did you find it?
No, keep talking. I'll eventually find it.
All right. I'm basically done talking about this, but I streamed it as.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just keep going. I'll find it eventually, even to come back to it. So.
Yeah. I streamed it for a holiday hangout, along with Castaway, which is like a half-hour-long Zelda-like, which was great as well. But I put this down in best writing because it's fucking fantastic. Even if you just watch a playthrough of it, you get about 80% of the value of the game out of it. It's great. As part of a different holiday hangout, I started and played just under the first hour of What the Car, which is the third release from I go to look at this developer name in the video form of rather than looking at the screen that's over here. What a dickhead. Triband. So they did What the Golf and What the Bat. What the Golf I fell off of after a couple hours because the mechanics and the jokes wore thin, and playing it wasn't as satisfying. What the Bat I haven't played because it's VR.
Okay.
But this I played the demo of a while back during the Next Fest, and I really dug it. I think this is the closest they've come to fully realizing their sense of humor, their aesthetic style, and gameplay actually coming together and making it all work. Granted, I'm about an hour in. That could well and truly change in the next hour, 2 hours, 3 hours that I'll end up playing of it. But I really dig what it's doing so far. And think it's very, very strong. And just fun. Sometimes it's nice to have just fun.
Jazz punk.
Yes. To an I think jazz punk, there's a little bit more puzzle complexity to it.
Yeah, a little bit more. But yeah, that's sort of just.
It is very similar to jazz punk that you're poking at the environment and watching shit fall, like watching the jokes fall out. Yes.
Yep.
Man, I'm annoyed. I couldn't think of jazz punk either, to be honest. How the fuck are we not? I mean, in fairness, that game's what, 4 or 5 years old at this point?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Steam page now. It's 2015.
Holy fuck! All right, it's nearly 10 years old then.
Nearly 10 years ago. That's January I last played that in January of 2015.
Fucking hell! All right,
Actually,
I played through Jazz Punk, but
that is 10 years old. It came out in February of 2014. So.
Fuck me. All right.
On Steam at least. I don't know if it was on any other platforms before that, but yeah.
No,
Steam,
it came out on Steam first.
Yeah. So 2014. Yeah.
Okay, so we're forgiven for not being able to remember a game from a decade ago.
I thought it was only 3 or 4 years ago, but no, it's 2014.
Yeah. Man, how fucked did the pandemic make time feel? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway.
The last thing I've played that I'll talk about is Caravan Sandwich, which you hadn't finished it, have you?
No, I've not gone back and started it. So we did a demo. We did a checkout of that back in July.
We did a checkout of the demo.
Back in July, so yeah.
So I streamed this a couple times. Like the first half hour I streamed of it for a holiday hangout. I did a bit more of it during the Saturday special last night or Saturday night. I really dig it. I did have a situation where Austin Powers the van, between two sort of pathway and a rock, and I tried doing the back and forth thing to get out. I just couldn't, so I just returned to the garage. It's fucking amazing artistically, which we've talked about a bunch. I think best looking is going to be incredibly difficult this year.
Yes.
Almost more so than any other year. I think the audio design is very pleasant, very solid. I don't think it's groundbreaking or it's earth shattering in its quality, but it's serviceable and does what it does. I enjoyed the exploration. The running around, the driving around, I thought was really enjoyable. And it was just the right length. I ended up getting it done in about 6 or 7 hours, I think.
Oh, you actually finished it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I finished it.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so it's not. I thought it might have been longer than that, but okay.
No.
Yeah, okay.
It is quite short. It seems a lot bigger when you're in the open world, when you first hit the open world. But no, it's not that big. I ended up getting all but...
Yeah, so I played it at the beginning and got to... Because you sort of start in the demo doesn't start the same way that the game starts.
No.
So you start in
Doesn't progress the same way either.
Yeah, so I think eventually just got to the same point.
You would have got to the first village and then... Okay, cool.
I think I got to the same place where the demo was, I think, when I started playing it again, and then sort of, okay, I sort of now know how it goes from here, sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. But
it does mechanically progress differently.
Okay.
Because I think you get the sort of hook that's on the caravan quite early in the demo.
Yeah.
I didn't end up getting that for a good hour or two, at least.
Okay.
One of the biggest criticisms I saw in reviews was the concept of, all right, you get components, build this tool, and go get more components and build this tool. But I was in the process of driving around doing the main missions and doing side jobs that I got asked for. I was collecting the components as I was going. So I didn't have too much of an artificial roadblock of, oh, shit, I don't have these components. I need to go and get them.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I was doing that constantly anyway. I thought the storytelling and the writing was quite effective. I don't think it would come up, or I could put it on for best writing, but I don't think it would hold water. But you might obviously differ in your opinion on that. I made the mistake of looking at the fucking discussion boards. Oh, God. Because I wanted to look at... Yeah, I know. I fucked my... Yeah, it was really fucking stupid, particularly for this game. I wanted to see if there was anything on for a couple of the achievements, because I ended up being 3 achievements shy of full completion. And holy fuck, with the discussion boards, just a fucking dumpster fire. Apparently, the developer basically came out and said, fuck people who voted for Trump, which... What?
Fair enough.
Yep, fair enough. And then people were mad pissy about that and just being assholes. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
that's everything I played, but there are a couple of things I still have...
If I was doing achievement stuff on PC, I wouldn't go to Steam to do it. I'd go to the True Achievements page on the website. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Because that'll be where you can mostly find that stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't ever...
Sometimes under guides, there's some really good achievement guides there on Steam.
Find it, but, yeah, few and far between from what
Sometimes on the discussion boards, there'll be individual topics for certain achievements, which are generally pretty helpful. But holy fuck, man. Not for this game.
No.
Turns out people on Steam are real dumb fucks. But I do have a couple other things that aren't game related. If you want to maybe go back to the main shot.
Certainly.
which makes no sense to people just listening on audio. I ended up taking the last Monday off work because I got a notice going, your chair is going to be delivered on this day. And I'm like, sweet, all right, I'll take the day off so I can receive it, because I didn't want it left at the front door. Didn't want to drive anywhere to pick it up because it's a Secret Lab chair, another one. And they come in big fucking boxes. So I got a phone call at 8:15 in the morning going, are you going to be home? Yes. I got a text message at 3 o'clock. But it's on its way. Fantastic. It rocked up at 5:30. So I didn't need to take that day off work, but it is what it is. In taking the day off work and not being able to sit at the computer, because obviously I needed to hear the door knock, so I couldn't just sit here with headphones on, I watched the Borderlands movie. Holy fuck, man. The casting is a fucking mess. The casting of Marcus, the Russian dude who's like, hey, I got guns. They did him well. They did Krieg, the psycho, well, but everything else was a mess. They seem like every individual playing the character seemed to have a fundamental misunderstanding of the character. They cast Kevin Hart as Roland, the fucking soldier from the first game. What the fucking fuck? And then they had Jack Black as Claptrap, which, fine, but you didn't need him. You could have just got the Claptrap voice actor from the games. So it just screamed casting for name rather than fit. So that was weird. Cate Blanchett seemed to at once not give a shit, but be overly invested in it as well, which is a really unusual combination that she pulled off. It's a movie based on a game with millions and trillions of guns that is fucking gutless violently. There is like next to no shooting. All the shooting that is fucking shit. You've got Roland, who doesn't have a turret. You've got Lilith, who's the siren, who becomes a siren in the last fucking 5 minutes. You take fucking elements of Borderlands 1 and elements of Borderlands 2 and throw it together in this lazy melange because Krieg and Tina are only in like fucking 2. They make Lilith turn into fucking X-Men Jean Grey Phoenix and go blah and fly into the fucking air when they open the vault, and the vault's not even the vault from the game, at least initially, because it actually turns into a fucking vault, not a goddamn monster. God damn it. And the vault, like, the bad guy looked really much like the bad guy from Bad Boys, the initial Bad Boys movie. Which I was like, whoa. And that got me to watch the first Bad Boys movie again, because that movie's dope. There's like 5 or 6 good lines that were like, ha, that's pretty good. But the rest of it is fucking dog shit, man. I had to know. I was curious. So it turns out curiosity doesn't kill the cat, it kills me. And I got a couple of must listens. Girl of Glass, their self-titled EP, which is incredibly heavy, sort of old school deathcore, which is great. A band called Gore, with an album called A Bud That Never Blooms. Sort of hardcore metalcore, but also sort of a little dreamy, sort of melodic singing, which is a really interesting mix and done really well. And Counterparts, Heaven Let Them Die, which is just fucking heavy as balls metalcore, which is great. And Mastodon did a 20th anniversary of Crack the Sky. That album's fucking fantastic. Mastodon rule. But if you've already heard that when it came out 20 fucking years ago, which god damn it, yeah, it's great, but it's old at this point. I can see why the Borderlands movie got shat on so hard. Because boy, is it bad. Anyway, so we've got 3 other things to look at. There was the Game Awards, the Games of January, and what we want to get to before Game of the Year. Now, you didn't watch the Game Awards. You just had a look over the announcements, yes?
Pretty much, yep.
I talked over it. I was so close to being able to talk over it live. I ended up scheduling a haircut at 8:30 when it started. So I got home and talked over it semi-live. Having that thing have a pre-show, like we've talked about it a bunch, I think, but calling it a pre-show is fucking stupid because it's basically just the show. I will say, I went through before I actually hit play and predicted a bunch of winners for the awards. I think I hit about 85% of them. I'm clever. What announcements jumped out at you?
I mean, to be honest, not that many, because
Okay.
I think a lot of them were, um, I think they hit a lot of people's nostalgia vibes. A lot of them, from what I could
Mm.
sort of gather. But sort of the big one to me was a Dave the Diver in the Jungle, which looks to be
Yeah.
some sort of decent a DLC for Dave the Diver, which looks a bit bigger or more expansive than the one they've already done,
The
which
Godzilla one.
the Godzilla one.
Yep.
So that looks interesting.
I think just before you get to your next one, I think a lot of the games announced here don't like, if I may be so bold, aren't really the sort of games you're as
Oh
interested in,
fuck
maybe.
no, hell no, no, none of them
Because
were.
I thought this was I thought a lot of the things that came out of here looked fucking fantastic.
I'm not saying they aren't looking good games for the people that like that sort of game, but for
Yeah, and
me,
that's what I meant.
for me, then none of them
What
don't.
else hit you?
The other big one, where'd it go? Outer Worlds getting a
Outer
trailer.
Worlds 2.
Outer Worlds 2.
Did you watch that? Have you watched that trailer yet?
No, I've literally read
Oh,
articles about it. I've not read anything, watched anything. I have no
the
intention of watching
trailer's
it.
fucking clever.
I think I might have seen that trailer. I think it was quite good. I think, yeah.
From the team that brought you Fallout 3 to New Vegas.
Split Fiction looks really interesting.
Yep.
That's the next game from Hazelight, the It Takes Two developers.
Joseph Fares.
It looks really cool. And that's probably, I think, the main ones I
I
got.
think there's another one that where is it?
There was one that took my opinion, but I'm now trying to find
Stage
it.
Fight. Stage Fright. Very somewhat similar to a Hazelight vibe.
Yes, I think I might have seen that one too. Don't care about that. Oh, Mafia Old Country looks interesting. And that's kind of it, really. I have no real interest in the Naughty Dog game because I have no idea what it's going to
Really?
be. No idea what it's going to be. That's the problem with these trailers. They are so fucking early. All they are is trailers. You don't really know what the games are, so that's why I'm not going to get that excited about this stuff because I just don't know what the games are really going to be like.
Yep.
And I'm now to the point where just no announcement does anything for me. I'm just so jaded, I guess, from what's happened in the past that I want to.
I suppose a lot of announcements don't stick to landing, and some of these are fucking early too.
Yeah, well, most of these games won't see 2025. They just won't.
No.
They'll see 2026 and beyond. There'll be some that'll come out in this year and they'll be all fine because they started doing it with 4 fucking years ago, not just now. So
the Okami sequel is literally, it just goes Okami sequel,
yeah,
which is real funny.
Yeah, not a real lot of big things. Like not everything.
Dispatch.
Dispatch, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Which is the one from Telltale.
Former Telltale developers.
Developers. That might be. Again, it's. Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to be necessarily that. Everything is going to be.
Yeah, there is a sort of or not needing to be said. 2 things. One, shit, you don't need to say shit looks good anymore because fucking almost everything looks amazing now. And 2, there's the obvious caveat of this game seems like it could be fucking awesome if it sticks to landing. The if it sticks to landing part is sort of goes without saying, I think, at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, even just seeing a trailer, I can't get excited about it unless I know what the game is actually going to be like. So a trailer that is just CGI stuff, as we've always talked about, I can't get excited. I just can't get excited about a CGI trailer anymore. I just can't.
No.
I want to see gameplay. What I prefer to see is not even a developer stream. Just get the game into influence. Is somewhat bad term. I don't like using it. Get it
be on camera of some kind.
On camera of some kind. People are actually playing it, and not just the developers playing it perfect way they're playing their particular sequence.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got to the point now where I can't get excited over trailers anymore, and that's why I would never watch this show again.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just can't get excited about trailers anymore because I just think that it's not even 50-50. I think it's probably 20-30 that the 20, 25, 80, 75, whatever, that the games just won't be what they're claiming they be right now. So
Yeah.
and that's why, going back to our discussion about Indiana Jones, that game is so freaking surprising that
They
it's land
showed
that
so painfully little about what that
so
fucking thing was.
what the thing was, and it's landed so
Mm.
freaking well. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of where I am with this stuff at the moment. Yeah.
Mm. I will say, I think the concept of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is the next game from the developers of Blasphemous 1 and 2, which I really dug. That hopefully, and this again, hopefully it's Sixth Landing.
Mm.
But like, I thought that a lot of the stuff from the pre-show actually was more interesting than the main show. The next game from Sifu developers, Slow Clap, being kind of Rocket League, but actually people, like a sort of futsal arena, but 5-on-5 football.
Yeah,
that looks dope. And you don't have to fly cars, so hopefully I can stick with it and be semi-competitive for a lot longer than Rocket League. Because fuck me, as soon as people figured out flying, that was it. I was done with Rocket League, so I was fucked.
Yep.
I never finished The Witcher 4, but there's interest there. It's fucking big. I don't know how to feel about this Elden Ring Night Rain. I think the Elden Ring was fantastic. I don't know how making it multiplayer and apparently roguelike is going to make it better. Apparently you can play it single player, but there's not much in the way of rewards. So it's like, okay. What else was there? I thought the Outer Worlds 2 trailer looked fucking fantastic. I thought that was great. The next Ryu Ga Gotoku games, like bringing back Virtual Fighter, making Virtual Fighter 6. I never talked about it, but I did it on video. I played the open beta for the Virtual Fighter 5 coming out early next year, which was pretty good. Turok's back! What the fucking fuck? Yeah, they're doing a third-person Turok game that's three-player co-op. That's weird. And they're doing a new, Screamer. Screamer was a racing game on PC in 1996. So they're bringing that back, which is weird. To piggyback, Onimusha coming out in 2026. What something you said there. Showed very little of. I've already said I'm keen for First Berserker, keen for Dying Light the Beast. What else is there? Yeah. You've mentioned all the other, we've talked about briefly the other games that might be interesting. Last of Us 2 coming out on PC, what a fucking shot. Does it come out better than it did for the first one did? Because fuck, that first one was a mess on PC. But yeah, I thought it had, the Astro Bot won Game of the Year.
That was a good surprise, I must admit. That was not what I would.
So it was that, Balatro, Metaphor Reach Fantasio, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and two other things that I'm forgetting.
Was it Black Myth Wukong in there as well, I think?
Black Myth Wukong was one of them.
Yep.
And there was a sixth game. So I ended up stumbling upon betting odds for Game of the Year.
Oh, God, okay.
And then I spent 2 hours trying to fucking bet on it, and I couldn't do it.
Wait, why would you?
They showed.
Delayed. Weren't you delayed? Weren't you behind?
No, not on the day. Well, I saw this like a week before.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I stumbled upon it, and then it was on a tab website. But as soon as I logged in, it fucking vanished. You couldn't do it. So I was like, wait, why the fuck would you show them? So Astrobot was paying $1.26 to win. And I was almost going to throw 10 bucks. Not almost. I was going to throw $10 on Balatro because that was paying $26. And I'm like, oh, that's a sneaky one. But yeah. I thought it was a really good show. I thought it was one of the best ones of the Game Awards he's done.
Yeah, I know they did because the only thing that really got, other than the various trailers that got announced, was that the I don't know what the name of the award was, but it was like an award for
Game Changer.
And they gave it to that guy who used to run a website, tell people about all the
Amir Satvad or something like that.
Yeah, so the fact that he actually directly took to that issue, because most times he
finally,
like every other time he's mentioned it, he's skirted around the edge every single time he's gone to mention it, and that's kind of where I'm at with the show. As from him being the host, he's so ingrained in that stuff, he cannot He can't.
He basically
He,
said that on stage.
yeah.
He's like, we haven't known how to do it. And he didn't say the part that was unsaid, which was, we can't say too much because we rely on these motherfuckers to be able to put this shit on.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
But he hinted at some of it and was like, yo, some of this shit is fucked, and this is why we've given this award to this dude.
Mm.
And then in introducing Game of the Year, Sven Larsen from the studio behind Baldur's Larian, that's the one.
Yeah.
He fucking came out and just went fucking scorched earth. Yeah. It was great. Oh, Snoop Dogg did a performance, and the new song he did was fucking terrible. And then he did Gin and Juice, and John Vignocchi was dancing in the crowd, and he was on camera for like half a second. And I thought that was funny. Oh, there's going to be a Death Row Games. That's weird. But yeah, that's the Game Awards.
Mm.
I think Keeley has put himself between a rock and a hard place. In that, how do you comment on 40,000 jobs like evaporating in the games industry when it's never been bigger, but all the money is concentrated in like 6 games?
Mm.
It's a very complex thing to do to be able to pull off something like this. And I said a few times because there was the Hoyo-verse segment, because there always is, with Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, and the other one that they do. I can't remember the other one. Honkai Star Rail. And I'm like, he can't do the Game Awards unless you have a Hoyo-verse block. He can't do the Game Awards unless Microsoft, Sony, all those people get on board and help him put it on. But also, you kind of can't do the show without going, yo, shit is fucked.
Mm.
And part of the shit is fucked is because you motherfuckers making bad bets on either AI or shit off the pandemic and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to grow up here. To be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy for him. I really don't.
I said, he's put himself in that position with,
in it, so he's
relying on him.
Yeah, so he's relying on that funding, what you want to call it, to make that show happen. He's just got to call it out. And if people walk away from it, then you realise how petty they are. You know, like not even
unless he knew what Sven Larsen was going to do.
Not even the people that laid off people would know that what they're doing is not shitty. Like they're not fucking monsters. They know what they're doing is bad because they don't necessarily want to do it. But bad business is bad.
Some
business.
of the bets on AI and shit like that though are bad.
I haven't seen much of that in the game stuff really. Like that hasn't really come out a lot.
Mm.
It's the NFT stuff that I think is really fucking bad.
Oh yeah,
all the NFT stuff. I think that's got some AI is a bit early to see what the impact of AI is going to be in games just yet in terms of when it comes to writing.
I think it's more the money they're throwing at it.
But that's just development. That's just tech in general. That's not nothing specific to gaming. So that's Microsoft, that's Google, that's Amazon, that's fucking everybody throwing money at AI. I'm not seeing a lot of that stuff in terms of gaming stuff. It has the potential to be quite big for gaming in some way because it could take a lot of I'm not saying it's could be good I should say, it's going to have big impact. I'm not saying it's good or bad because it has the ability to take away from developers,
voice acting jobs, writing jobs, whatever the case may be.
Writing jobs, because it has the potential to replace that. I don't think it will because I just don't think it's good enough. Like you watch a YouTube video that's got AI narration, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
So unless they can make it.
There's.
So yeah. So
there was an option in the preferences where we could either confirm or deny whether we wanted to submit our videos to AI learning models.
Yeah. So
I did not click that button.
Yeah. I just think he just has to. He's got to say it out loud. He's just got to.
Yeah.
And if him saying that means that they all walk away from him, then that's probably a good thing.
And you'll probably end up, if he does call it out hard, then you'll probably, if they do walk away, you'll probably get money from other sources.
Get money from other sources.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd also, not that he with all the stuff he's got with the Summer Games Fest stuff and the stuff it does at Gamescom, he's got enough. I don't think they would ever walk away from him. I really don't. Even if he called them out,
no.
I just think he's made himself so integral to the PR process now of studios and development publishers that even if, like, yes, Microsoft could do their own stream of their games,
And they do.
and they do. They don't get anywhere near the numbers that he can put
No.
in. So when I jumped on it, because I was at lunchtime that whatever Friday it was on, I thought, I wonder if it's still going.
The 13th.
13th, it was still fucking going. So Jesus fucking.
Yeah, it was.
And I looked at it, and then on YouTube, there's 1.1 million people watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking massive numbers. So, so yeah. I think, yeah, I'm glad he actually finally did something really concrete about calling it out.
He made a statement before the Game Changer Award was handed out, before introducing that. He was like, we've struggled with how to do it for a bunch of different reasons. He didn't get into the reasons. He didn't get into why he hadn't said anything. He did just go, look, we've struggled with how to address this, but it needs addressing. This shit is fucked. He didn't say this shit is fucked, but I'm paraphrasing that part. But he transitioned that into being, I guess, more positive about that Game Changer Award. And then, of course, fuckwits on the internet shat on that dude because apparently he works at a bigger company.
He works for Tencent. Or maybe he used to. I don't know if it still is or not now.
Or a Tencent subsidiary or something owned by Tencent. And everyone's shitting on him. It's like, dog, he still, like...
He still did what he did.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
Fucking dumpster. Goddamn fucking gamers. Yep. Gamers ruin everything.
Yep, pretty much.
So I fucking hate that. Anytime anyone goes, oh, this is... I get introduced and it's like, this is Steve. He's a gamer. I'm like, no, I'm not.
No.
I'm a dude who plays video games.
Yeah. Yep.
I really like video games. I like talking about them and doing videos, but I am not a gamer because they're fuckwits.
Yeah, it's a thing I like to do, but it doesn't make me who I am, and that's a big difference. Because I think a lot of people who do that, they get so invested in that. That's all they can't see beyond that. So anyway.
It seems like the ones who label themselves as such are so not only tied up in that, but get so tied up in quote unquote games being woke and like politicization of games and things like that as well.
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
Those two things go hand in hand, and it's like, fuck you, man. Anyway, fuck them. Anyway, so Game Awards done. Games of January. Should we do them next, or do you want to do what we're looking at?
Yeah, let's do the games of January next. Yep.
All right, so I'm sending that to you.
Yep. So click on the podcast view of that. I'll wait till you've done that.
What? I did.
No, it should go black.
Yeah. It should, but it's not.
Okay. Just a second.
I just clicked on upcoming games podcast view, and it's still white.
Okay, that's interesting because mine goes black. So I'll show.
Oh, that's really weird.
That's really weird. All right, I shall do mine then. I shall cut to it.
Okay.
There we go.
And I will stop streaming to you. So yeah.
Click on January.
It's funny that that's the Indiana Jones in there because of the PlayStation 5 release. 2025 kicks off fucking hard early because like I went through and added some stuff, and I didn't do the massively deep amount or adding of games like I normally do because, like I said, I need to be more discerning about what I buy and what I put down for this stuff like this. But this is the sequel to Hyperlight Drifter. They've made it 3D, called it Hyperlight Breaker. It's coming out in early access January 14th. I really liked Hyperlight Drifter. I thought that was great. I'm really looking forward to what this becomes. And hopefully it comes out well. They'll use the early access process to obviously tweak, develop, all that sort of stuff. But that has incredible potential. One I'm very looking forward to. I don't think it's one of your sort of game you're up into, is it?
No,
yeah.
There's nothing on this list that are at the moment, I don't think. But yeah.
Oh, maybe a little bit further down. I think there's one or two that you might dig.
There's one or two that I thought I looked at, but
yeah. End of Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist comes out 1.0 at the end of January, January 22nd. It came out early access in March this year. It's the follow-up for Ender Lilies, which was a Metroidvania from 2022 that I thought was really good. I really dug that, and I'm really looking forward to playing this. I really need to stop buying games in early access too, because I never touch them until they come out because I'm a fuckwit. But anyway, this is January 22nd. That will be out both on PC and basically all the consoles except maybe Xbox One. If it's anything like Ender Lilies, this will be fucking fantastic because I really dug Ender Lilies. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Mark of the Deep. I think sort of isometric-y, Soulsy game, but I really am interested in both how it looks and what I've seen in gameplay footage in the trailers. So that's 24th of January across everything. Oh, let's go. Sequel to Tales of Iron, which was the side-scrolling mouse-based Souls-like from a couple of years ago. I really dug that, and the second I saw this, I'm like, fucking let's go. And they're putting it out just before the end of January. So that is one I'm very much looking forward to playing. Eternal Strands has a great look to it. Has a bit of a Souls-like vibe. I think it's partially MMO.
Yeah,
maybe.
Looks a bit MMO-y then. Yeah.
But I also think it's got a bit of a what was the Ubisoft game with the gods in it?
Yeah, I was actually thinking it's a bit of Phoenix Immortals, whatever that game was called.
Yes, Phoenix Immortals, Phoenix Rising.
Phoenix Rising, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got a bit of a vibe of that to it as well, which if it plays a bit like that, then I'll be happy even if it is an MMO. It could be the first MMO I get into. Who can say? Oh, let's go. Sniper Elite Resistance, the next Sniper Elite game. Let's go. It's on Game Pass. January 30th. I have liked the Sniper Elite games the more they have come out. I started on 2. I thought 2 was really, really fun, but it wasn't particularly polished. But 3, 4, and 5 were fucking amazing. I really liked those. And I'm super looking forward to this one. Watching Nazi heads blow up with fucking sniper rifles. That's super fun. Spider-Man 2 on PC. Let's go. That'd be pretty good. And I think this is the one that likely for you.
No, I did not like Citizen Sleeper at all. So no.
Didn't you?
No, I could not get into it at all. Could not get into it at all.
Oh, okay. I thought I really liked Citizen Sleeper. I thought Citizen Sleeper was a great game.
But I couldn't get into it at all.
Yes.
Could not understand how to play it.
I can see that. I can see why. The dice rolling stuff was ended up being a bit fucked in points. But Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. Apparently you are taking the role of a different character this time, but still a very similar vibe of like an AI trying to get off a station, things of that nature. And again, that should hopefully be fucking incredible. 31st of January. I think I kept that relatively powered down. I took one off, actually, before we started. I played a demo of one of the games that was on here, and I'm like, nope, you're out. See? A little bit more discerning.
I didn't even look, so it's all right.
Yeah. I did, because I'm dumb. Okay. That is the games of... I like how you've got Graham's games, so I fucking didn't think of that. Yep, they're all Graham's games. All the games that Graham's going to play in January. Okay. This is our last podcast of the year. This is our last actual podcast before we record Game of the Year. So, what are some things that you are wanting to get to / finish before that period of time?
So I've got about a dozen games I want to get to.
Right, I don't feel so bad now.
Let me just fix something here first. Before I forget to do it. Alright, so I've got it on my desktop, so I have to excuse me a moment while I show it. So Indiana Jones, finish off that. I Am Future, I think I'm probably close to finishing that. I'm not too sure. SteamWorld Heist 2, get back to finish that off. Same with Sumerian 6. I want to get to Nobody Wants to Die. It's a game you were quite high on earlier this year. I want to get to that.
Yep.
Luma Island, I'm not too sure we'd necessarily finish that. I'm not too sure that's a target to finish, but that's on my list. Caravan Sandwich. I've bought Dragon Age, Valgode. I bought that not this summer sale, but the previous sale that happened.
Yep.
And Star Wars Outlaws, and if possible, my time at Sandrock. But they're the games I'm targeting. Is that tough?
Games you are targeting. I like that. Because Plucky Squire. I need to start.
No, you'll finish that in a couple of sessions.
So, hey,
you'll finish that in a couple of sessions.
Oh yeah. So Space Marine 2, I would like to get to Wild Bastards, Kill Knight, Grun, Silent Hill 2, the remake that came out earlier this year. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually play that?
No.
All right. Fear the Spotlight. Where are we? Dragon Age, the Veilguard, Void Souls. Is this game trying to kill me? That's apparently like 3 hours, so that'll be fairly easy. I would like to crack into I Am Future. But I'm not 100% sure if I will get to that. Indiana Jones is definitely one. I would like to try and touch Stalker 2, but I don't think I'm going to get to it. Those are the main ones. And there's a few like smaller ones in there. Kavak and Zero Protocol. Iron Meat is like an hour. But yeah, did I say Fear the Spotlight?
Yes, you did, I think, yes.
All right, sweet. So yeah, but I'll do some holiday hangouts where I play at least some of those games as well, just to at least touch them, and then I make the decision about, okay, am I going to stick with this? Yes, no. I'm actually going to do one of those after I have some lunch today. Do a bit of a shoot Sunday, and I don't know, maybe I'll just end up playing fucking Call of Duty for 3 hours again. Yeah, I've got a lot I want to get to. I would love to get to UFO 50, but fuck me, I'm not going to get to that. Jesus Christ. Trying to play 50 trying to play fucking 5 games out of some of those is going to be rough. Trying to play 50. Ugh. But yeah, like of the big ones, I'm going to start Dragon Age. I'm going to try and start Dragon Age before this comes out. I want to start that on Monday. So the big games will be Dragon Age, then Indie. And then I'll go backwards to Silent Hill and Space Marine 2, and then the indie games sort of fluttered in between and keep chipping away at Black Myth. Fuck me, I need to play more Black Myth than that. Ugh. I bought too many games, Graham.
You did.
Thanks for your sympathy. Begin the end, bitch. That's not very nice.
No,
what a prick. We is on YouTube. Should I play this game on YouTube? If you give us a subscribe there, you'll get at least see in your subscriptions. Ring the bell and you'll get notification when we put new content up. Fucking hate it when almost every video channel does that. Shits me. Twitch.tv/Enemy Starship. Give us a follow over there. You get an email when I go live for holiday hangouts or the various Friday night funs. I'm not planning. I'm doing holiday hangouts, but I'm barely planning when I'm doing them. I'm just like, I feel like firing this up. And I do it. Probably scheduling them might be smarter, but as we've established, there are some realms in which I am not very smart at all. Solo Factory?
Yes, probably do a couple of those in the break, maybe, depending how it all goes, but yeah. We shall see.
And Luma Island, I think we're doing a couple of Luma Island sessions during the break as well.
Yeah,
maybe
the break,
maybe not.
The break in this concept is the break between the podcasts. So between this and the Game of the Year podcast, we're talking about a 6-week period here, give or take. So it's not just the Christmas break, but yes, we'll do content over that Christmas, over that break, over that gap. Luma Island, we might be some other checkout stuff we want to do between now and then. Who knows? But yeah, definitely doing Lima Island at least a couple of times during that period. Plus, we're
making pretty good progress in that.
I think so. Yeah, even
though it's not purely driven by a need for cooperative play, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a neat little game. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
But yeah. As I said, we'll keep plugging away on that. We might put some other checkout stuff in there as well. But yeah, we'll see.
Indeed. But yeah, keep subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. What podcast apps are we on? Do we even know these days? I have no fucking idea.
This is the podcast.
Apple Podcasts, I know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep.
Okay. Is it on the Google one? Does Google even have a podcast app?
They have one, but I don't know if Australia's part of that yet. Last time I looked
at motherfuckers.
Last time I couldn't do it for some reason, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've talked a couple times, like, we should put it on Spotify. And then I get around to trying to look it up, and I'm like, fuck it. Anyway, anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, for 2024, thank you, everybody who has hung out and subscribed or followed and all sorts of shit, watched our stuff, stuck around for 2024. Have a fantastic Christmas and New Year period without being silly or doing anything dangerously stupid. And we'll be back with video stuff through January. Game of the Year podcast will probably be the last weekend of January, I want to say, Graham.
That's the current
stage
schedule, yes. So
Word?
We'll probably do 2 episodes like we did last year, so...
Oh, yeah.
Look for those.
Oh, yeah.
Look for those in... Yeah. I think it might be something like...
Well, maybe it's the first weekend of February, because first and second.
So it might even be that we record on the last weekend of January and they go out the following... we'll figure it out. Late January.
Yeah, we'll figure some shit out.
Late January, early February, something like that. You'll see a couple of episodes pop out, and that'll be our parts of our Game of the Year stuff.
Thanks for hanging out, and come on back in 2025 for more of the Should I Play This Game podcast. Graham Banks, thank you for all the editing and technical shit that I'm not smart enough to do.
Oh, good.
Have yourself a great Chrissy. Have yourself a great New Year. And we'll see you all again next year for more of this shenanigans. Bye.
Bye.
Press that button. There it is.